Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you truly focused on yourself? Not on the noise around you, not on what people expect of you, but on you, your growth, your happiness, your goals? Have you ever felt like you're giving so much to everything else, yet forgetting the most important project of all, yourself? If your answer is yes, then this audiobook is for you. This is your call to rebuild, to rise from old habits, old stories, and old limitations, and to start creating the best version of yourself, one day at a time. In the chapters ahead, we'll walk together through powerful lessons, real-life strategies, and daily practices that will help you strengthen your focus, rebuild your confidence, and align your life with your true purpose. But here's the truth. This isn't just another audiobook to listen to and forget. It's a guide for action. Every chapter will ask something of you: reflection, a habit, a step forward. Because nothing changes until you do. So, I invite you to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, are you ready to rebuild? Are you ready to let your focus be on you, every single day? If your answer is yes, then let's begin. Before we dive in, we've noticed that most people who listen to our audiobooks never subscribe to the channel. So do me and yourself a favor. Like this video, share it with someone who's ready to grow, and subscribe so you never miss the valuable insights that will keep you unstoppable. Chapter 1: The Call to Rebuild. Let me start by asking you a personal question. When was the last time you looked at your life and asked yourself if this is truly the life you want to live? It's a difficult question, but one we often avoid. Many of us move through the days on autopilot, working, fulfilling obligations, keeping up appearances, while deep inside, we know something isn't right. We feel stuck, unmotivated, or disconnected from who we want to become. That quiet voice inside whispers, it's time for a change. That whisper is what I call the call to rebuild. It's life's way of telling you that the old version of you has expired, and it's time to create something new. Why rebuilding yourself is necessary in today's world. The world we live in today is faster and noisier than ever. Technology keeps us connected 24/7, yet many people feel more disconnected from themselves than before. Expectations from society, work, and even family can drown out our own desires. The constant comparison on social media can leave us feeling inadequate, even if on the outside we look successful. That's why rebuilding yourself is not just an option, it's a necessity. Rebuilding means choosing to pause, reflect, and realign your life with what truly matters. It's about understanding that the person you were yesterday doesn't have to be the person you remain tomorrow. Consider Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. Before she became one of the most influential leaders of the modern world, she lived a quiet life as a scientist in East Germany. She could have remained there, comfortable and unseen, but when the world shifted after the fall of the Berlin Wall, she answered her personal call to rebuild. She stepped into politics, an entirely new path, and over time, became a symbol of resilience, discipline, and leadership. Her story reminds us that no matter where we start, we can choose to rebuild into something greater. Recognizing signs you need a fresh start. So how do you know if it's time to rebuild? Sometimes the signs are loud, like a failed relationship, a lost job, or a health scare. Other times, the signs are quiet but persistent. Let me share a few signs that might sound familiar. You feel constantly drained. Every day feels heavy, even when nothing major is wrong. You've lost your spark. Things you once enjoyed no longer excite you. You feel stuck in cycles. You keep repeating the same mistakes or patterns without progress. You catch yourself saying, "I'll be happy when," but happiness never seems to come. You envy others' lives more than you celebrate your own. If any of these resonate with you, it's not something to fear, it's a signal. Life is tapping you on the shoulder, reminding you it's time to grow again. Barack Obama once said, "The future rewards those who press on." I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. I don't have time to complain. I'm going to press on. His journey from community organizer to President of the United States was not linear or easy. He faced countless obstacles, doubts, and criticisms. But every time he hit a wall, he pressed on, choosing to rebuild himself stronger, wiser, and more focused. The courage to rebuild. Rebuilding isn't about pretending your past never happened. It's about gathering the lessons of the past and using them as bricks to build a stronger foundation. In his book Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." That line captures the heart of rebuilding. Sometimes the world around us may not change, but we have the power to change ourselves, and by doing so, we change our future. Action step, your first exercise. Here's your first practical step. Take a pen and paper, or even the Notes app on your phone. Write down 3 areas of your life that feel stuck or need renewal. It could be your career, your health, your relationships, your finances, or even your mindset. Don't overthink it. Just write what comes to your heart. By naming these areas, you're shining a light on the parts of your life that are calling for attention. This simple act of awareness is the first step toward rebuilding. Key takeaways for you. Before we close this chapter, let's highlight the most important lessons. Rebuilding yourself is not weakness, it's wisdom. Growth requires renewal. The signs are always there. When you feel drained, stuck, or restless, it's life telling you to realign. You are not alone. World leaders, thinkers, and everyday people have had to rebuild themselves at different points in life. Action creates change. Awareness is the first step, but taking action, like writing down those 3 areas, is how rebuilding begins. Rebuilding is a journey, not a one-time event. It begins with a simple decision: to stop living by default and start living with intention. Think about this. If Angela Merkel had stayed in her comfort zone, the world may never have known her leadership. If Barack Obama had stopped after his first failure, he may never have become a global symbol of hope. If Viktor Frankl had given up, his words may never have inspired millions. Now it's your turn. What will your rebuilt story look like? Take a deep breath, hold on to your 3 areas of renewal, and get ready, because in the next chapter, we'll dive into how to break free from the old you. Chapter 2, Breaking Free from the Old You. Let me ask you something. How many times have you caught yourself saying, "This is just who I am"? Maybe you believe you're not smart enough, not disciplined enough, or not lucky enough to create the life you want. But let me tell you this, none of those thoughts are facts. They are beliefs you've carried, stories you've told yourself, and habits you've repeated until they started to feel like truth. But here's the reality. The person you think you are today is only a reflection of the patterns you've repeated from your past. And the good news is, if those patterns were learned, they can also be unlearned. Think about it for a moment. What old habits or limiting beliefs are still holding you hostage? Do you believe success is only for other people? Do you tell yourself you'll never break free from the mistakes you made before? Or do you feel like your past has already defined your future? If so, it's time to challenge those thoughts. Because breaking free from the old you begins with a single decision. The decision to no longer accept the limits you once believed were permanent. History gives us powerful reminders that no past mistake or limitation can stop a person who is determined to change. Take Franklin D. Roosevelt, the former president of the United States. He was struck by polio at the age of 39, which left him unable to walk unaided. Many around him believed his political career was over. Yet Roosevelt refused to let his physical limitation define his future. He went on to lead his country through the Great Depression and World War II, becoming one of the most respected leaders of his time. His story reminds us that your limitations don't have to be your destiny. Another example is Golda Meir, who served as Prime Minister of Israel. She grew up in poverty, often facing hardship and doubt about her future. Yet she broke free from those humble beginnings, rising to become one of the most influential female leaders of her era. Her life proves that your starting point does not determine your finishing line. And let's not forget Nelson Mandela's close contemporary in Africa, Kwame Nkrumah, who fought against colonialism. He faced imprisonment, exile, and countless setbacks, yet he rebuilt himself each time. He transformed his pain into purpose, focusing on freedom and vision instead of past oppression. These leaders all teach us one timeless truth. What you believe about yourself will shape what you achieve. As the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle reminds us, you are not your past. You are not even the voice in your head. You are the awareness behind it. This is powerful because it shows that your past is not your identity. It's only your story. And every story can be rewritten. So ask yourself, are you living in your past story, or are you ready to write a new one? Understanding how past experiences shape your present. Let's break this down simply. Your brain is like a filing cabinet. Every experience you've had, whether good or bad, gets stored as a file. When you face new situations, your brain searches through old files to decide what to believe and how to act. For example, if you failed at a project years ago, your brain may say, "Don't try again, you'll fail." If you were told as a child that you weren't good enough, you might still hear that voice whenever you want to chase a new dream. But here's the truth. Just because something happened before doesn't mean it will happen again. Your brain is simply replaying old files, but you are not bound by those files. You can create new ones. Action step: rewriting your beliefs. Here's a practical exercise I want you to do right now. Identify a negative belief you've been carrying. Maybe it's "I'm not disciplined," "I'm not worthy of success," or "I'll never be able to change." Write it down on a piece of paper. Rewrite it into a positive affirmation. For example, instead of "I'm not disciplined," say, "Every day, I am becoming more focused and consistent." Instead of "I'm not worthy of success," say, "I am worthy of opportunities, and I am ready to receive them." Instead of "I'll never change," say, "I am capable of growth and I choose progress daily." Repeat it daily. Speak it out loud every morning. The more you repeat it, the more your mind begins to believe it. Imagine yourself as a sculptor, and your life is a block of stone. The old you, the habits, the fears, the limitations, are just rough edges. Each time you challenge a limiting belief, it's like chipping away at that block. Over time, the true masterpiece begins to appear. But you must be willing to pick up the chisel every day. Key takeaways for you. The old you is just a story built from past experiences. It does not define your future. World leaders like Franklin D. Roosevelt, Golda Meir, and Kwame Nkrumah remind us that setbacks, limitations, or humble beginnings cannot stop a determined spirit. Past files in your brain may try to control your future, but you can rewrite them with new beliefs and affirmations. Rebuilding starts with one choice: letting go of who you were and focusing on who you can become. If this chapter inspired you, I encourage you to take this seriously. Do the exercise. Write down your limiting belief and replace it with a new affirmation. Then speak it every day until it becomes part of your identity. And before we move to the next chapter, I'd like to ask for your support. If you're finding value in this audiobook, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to this channel so you won't miss the next chapters. Remember, your journey to rebuilding yourself is not just about listening, it's about acting. And action starts now. Chapter 3: The Power of Self-Awareness. Let me ask you something. How well do you know yourself? Not the version of you that others see. Not the version of you that society has shaped. I'm talking about the real you, the one with unique strengths, hidden fears, deep desires, and untapped potential. Most people think they know themselves, until life throws a challenge at them and they realize they've been living on autopilot. And here's the truth. You cannot rebuild yourself, and you cannot focus on your goals until you know who you are at the deepest level. This is why self-awareness is the foundation of growth. It is the mirror that shows you where you stand, the compass that directs your journey, and the fuel that powers every meaningful change you make. Think about it. How can you set the right goals if you don't understand your own values? How can you improve if you don't know your strengths and weaknesses? How can you build confidence if you've never taken the time to understand your own patterns of thought and behavior? One world leader who embodied the power of self-awareness was Barack Obama. Long before he became president, Obama was known for his calm, reflective nature. In his memoir, he often described how he spent hours journaling and reflecting on his choices, his mistakes, and his vision for the future. That self-awareness not only helped him make better decisions, but also shaped his ability to connect with people across cultures and backgrounds. His story reminds us that leadership, whether of a nation or of your own life, begins with knowing yourself. Another example is Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. She was never the loudest voice in the room. In fact, many underestimated her because of her quiet style. But what set her apart was her deep self-awareness. She knew her strengths: analytical thinking, patience, and calm judgment. And she also knew her weaknesses, so she surrounded herself with experts who filled the gaps. This ability to lead from a place of self-knowledge helped her stay one of the world's most respected leaders for over a decade. Their stories show us something important. Self-awareness is not about perfection. It's about clarity. It's about knowing enough about yourself so you can make the right decisions for your life. Now, you may ask, how do I build self-awareness? The answer is simple but powerful. It begins with daily check-in habits. These small practices help you pause, reflect, and align with your true self. Let's break them down. 1. Journaling. Writing down your thoughts every day helps you track your emotions, your wins, and even your struggles. You don't need to write pages, just a few sentences about how you felt today, what you did well, and what you could improve. Over time, journaling becomes a mirror that shows you patterns you would otherwise miss. 2. Meditation. No, this doesn't mean you have to sit cross-legged on a mountain. Meditation is simply the practice of being present. It can be as short as 5 minutes of quiet breathing. When you pause and silence the noise around you, you begin to hear your inner voice more clearly. That inner voice is your guide to self-awareness. 3. Reflection. At the end of each day, take 10 minutes to reflect. Ask yourself, what choices did I make today? How did they make me feel? Did I act in alignment with my values? This practice not only helps you stay aware of your actions, but also builds the muscle of self-correction. Let me share a quote from Stephen R. Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Self-awareness enables us to stand apart and examine even the way we see ourselves. It affects not only our attitudes and behaviors, but also how we see other people. This means that by knowing yourself, you gain the power to shape not just your inner world, but also how you relate to others. Now let's bring this down to you. Imagine starting each day with a clearer understanding of yourself. You would know what energizes you and what drains you. You would understand what motivates you and what distracts you. You would make choices not out of habit, but out of intention. And here's the action step for you. Starting today, commit to spending at least 10 minutes daily reflecting on your emotions and choices. It could be through journaling, meditation, or simple reflection at the end of your day. Ask yourself 3 simple questions. What did I do well today? What did I learn today? What will I improve tomorrow? Do this consistently, and you will notice a shift. You'll become more intentional, more focused, and more in control of your growth. Remember this. The journey to rebuilding yourself is not about copying someone else's path. It's about discovering who you are, and then building from there. Self-awareness gives you that foundation. Without it, you risk building your life on shaky ground. Key takeaways for you. Self-awareness is the foundation of personal growth. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses helps you make better decisions. Great leaders like Barack Obama and Angela Merkel practiced self-awareness daily. Simple habits like journaling, meditation, and reflection can transform your self-knowledge. Action step. Spend 10 minutes every day reflecting on your emotions and choices. So, here's my question to you. Are you willing to take 10 minutes each day to truly know yourself? Because if you are, your journey to rebuilding will not just be powerful, it will be unstoppable. Thank you for listening to this chapter of Rebuild Yourself. Let your focus be on you every day. If you found this valuable, don't keep it to yourself. Remember to like, share, and subscribe so that more people can begin their journey of self-awareness and growth. Now take a deep breath, and let's move forward together. Chapter 4. setting the right foundation. Let's begin with a simple truth. You cannot rebuild yourself on shaky ground. Just like a house will collapse without a strong foundation, your journey of self-improvement will fail if it is not built on vision and values. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself, what is the foundation of my life? Is it clear? Is it strong? Or are you building on sand, shifting between what others expect of you and what you think you should be? This chapter is about making sure your foundation is solid. It's about understanding that before you chase goals, before you demand success, you need to know what you stand for, what you believe in, and where you are going. The importance of vision and values in rebuilding. Vision is simply the picture of your future. It's the ability to see beyond where you are today. Without vision, you wander. Without vision, you follow trends, but never lead yourself anywhere. Values, on the other hand, are the guiding principles that keep you grounded. They are the non-negotiables of your life. They are what you stand for, even when no one is watching. Let me illustrate this with a real-world example. Think about a leader like Martin Luther King Jr. His vision was crystal clear. A world where people would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. His value was justice. Because of that vision and value, he endured threats, prison, and setbacks, yet he never lost focus. Another example is Mother Teresa. Her vision was simple: to serve the poorest of the poor with love. Her values of compassion and humility guided every decision she made. Notice something here. Neither of them needed to be in politics or hold massive power. Their vision and values alone created a legacy that inspired millions. When you have vision and values, you become unshakable. Circumstances may change, challenges may come, but your foundation remains strong. How clarity of purpose fuels discipline. Here's something you must understand. Discipline is not about forcing yourself every day to do something you hate. True discipline comes when you are clear on your purpose. Think about it. If you know exactly what you want, if you see the destination in your mind, discipline becomes easier. Imagine an athlete preparing for the Olympics. The daily training is grueling, the sacrifices are heavy, but because they have a vision, standing on that podium with a gold medal, they stay disciplined. History gives us many lessons here. Consider someone like Nelson Mandela's contemporary in leadership, Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana. His clarity of purpose was the independence of his people. Even when imprisoned, even when criticized, he remained disciplined because he knew what he was working toward. This applies to your life too. If you are struggling with discipline, it's not that you're lazy. It's often that your vision is not clear enough. When you sharpen your vision, when you know your why, you'll find the strength to say no to distractions and yes to focus. Action step: write a personal mission statement. Now let's make this practical. Every strong foundation begins with clarity. And one of the most powerful ways to gain clarity is by writing a personal mission statement. A personal mission statement is simply a declaration of what your life is about. It's your compass when you feel lost. It's your anchor when challenges come. It doesn't have to be complicated. Here's how you can write one. Ask yourself, what matters most to me in life? Ask, what kind of person do I want to become? Ask, what impact do I want to leave behind? Now, combine your answers into a simple statement. For example, my mission is to live with integrity, to grow daily, and to inspire others through kindness and excellence. Or, my mission is to build a life of purpose where I use my gifts to help others and create lasting value. This mission statement becomes your foundation. Whenever you're unsure of what to do, you can return to it. Here's something fascinating. Every great movement in history, every great transformation, began with a mission statement, even if it wasn't written down. Leaders in Asia, Africa, Europe, and the Americas all had something in common. They had a vision larger than themselves, guided by values they refused to compromise. A famous line from the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey says, "Begin with the end in mind." That means always live today with a clear picture of the future you want. Without that clarity, you're just reacting to life instead of building it. So let me ask you directly, do you have a mission statement for your life? Or are you just waking up each day, hoping things will work out? If you don't have one yet, don't worry. Today is your starting point. Take 15 minutes after listening to this chapter, sit in silence, and write your personal mission statement. Put it somewhere you'll see it daily, on your wall, in your journal, or on your phone. This single step can change everything. It will guide your decisions. It will remind you of your focus. It will keep you rebuilding yourself on a strong, unshakable foundation. Key takeaways for you. A strong foundation is built on vision and values. Vision gives you direction, values keep you grounded. Clarity of purpose makes discipline easier. Writing a personal mission statement gives you a compass for your life. Without a foundation, you will drift. With a foundation, you will build. If this chapter inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Remember, growth is even stronger when shared. So take a moment right now, like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Together, let's keep building, focusing, and growing every single day. Chapter 5, The Discipline of Focus. Let me ask you a simple but powerful question. What is the one thing that separates those who achieve greatness from those who remain average? The answer is focus. Focus is your greatest currency. Not money, not talent, not even time. Because without focus, you can waste money, misapply your talents, and throw away your time. But when you direct your focus like a laser beam, you magnify your efforts and produce results that others can't even imagine. Think of it this way. The sun shines every day, but it doesn't set anything on fire until its rays are concentrated through a lens. That's exactly what focus does for your life. It turns ordinary energy into extraordinary power. Now let's go deeper. Why focus is your greatest currency? There's a truth most people overlook. We all have the same 24 hours. The difference between people who succeed and those who don't lies in what they do with their attention within those hours. A world leader who exemplifies this is Angela Merkel, former Chancellor of Germany. For many years, she was considered one of the most powerful women in the world. What set her apart wasn't flashy speeches or dramatic moves. It was her calm, steady focus. Merkel was known for being able to sit in long negotiations, quietly analyzing, thinking deeply, and not letting distractions push her into hasty decisions. That discipline of focus allowed her to guide her country and the European Union through multiple crises. This teaches us something. Focus isn't always loud. Sometimes focus is calm, steady, and deliberate. Here's the problem most people face. They are pulled in 1,000 directions every day. Notifications, social media, endless emails, television, gossip, and all the little tasks that feel urgent but are not important. If your focus is scattered, your results will be scattered too. Eliminating distractions. To master focus, you must first identify your distractions. And here's a little secret. Distractions are not just outside of you. They're inside as well. Yes, the phone buzzing on your desk is a distraction, but so is the restless urge to check it every 5 minutes. The unfinished tasks piling up are distractions, but so is the guilt you carry about them. Focus begins with discipline. Discipline to say, not now. Discipline to turn off notifications, to close the door, to put your phone in another room, to block out the noise, and to guard your attention as if it were gold. Because it is. Let me share an example. A famous quote from Cal Newport's book Deep Work says, "Clarity about what matters provides clarity about what does not." When you're clear about what truly matters to you, it becomes easier to eliminate what doesn't. If you want to rebuild yourself, if you want to rise to your best self, then you must learn to say no to the unnecessary, and yes only to what aligns with your goals. Practicing deep work. Now let's talk about deep work. Deep work is the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. It's where your best thinking, your most creative ideas, and your most valuable contributions come from. Think about scientists who dedicate years to solving a single problem. Think about writers who spend hours daily crafting their books. Think about leaders who lock themselves away to strategize for the future. Their breakthroughs don't come from multitasking or jumping between apps. They come from deep, focused work. One world leader who mastered this was Lee Kuan Yew, the founding father of modern Singapore. He had a vision of transforming a small, struggling island into a global powerhouse. That required decades of consistent focus on education, on infrastructure, on discipline. He once said, "I always tried to be correct, not politically correct." That shows his ability to cut through noise and distractions, staying focused on what mattered most for his nation's future. You see, focus isn't just about productivity, it's about direction. It's about choosing where your energy goes and protecting it fiercely. Action step: create a 1-hour focus block. Now here's your practical challenge. I want you to create a 1-hour focus block in your day. This is 1 hour where you deliberately shut out every distraction. No phone, no internet scrolling, no interruptions. Just you and the one task that matters most. Maybe it's writing. Maybe it's planning. Maybe it's studying. Maybe it's building your business. Whatever it is, give it your undivided attention for 1 full hour. Do this consistently, and you'll be amazed at how much progress you can make in just a few weeks. Start small if you need to. Even 30 minutes of deep focus is better than 3 hours of shallow, distracted effort. What matters is not the length of time, it's the purity of your focus. Remember, you are not rebuilding your life by chance, you are rebuilding it by choice. And focus is the daily choice you make. Every distraction you allow steals from your future. Every moment you guard builds it. Ask yourself, what distractions do I need to remove today? What task deserves my deep focus tomorrow? How can I create an environment that makes focus easier for me? The answers to these questions will shape the discipline of focus in your life. Key takeaways for you. Focus is your greatest currency. How you spend it determines your results. Eliminate distractions. Protect your attention as if it were treasure. Deep work leads to breakthroughs. Give your mind the space for undivided effort. Create a daily focus block. Even 1 hour of pure focus can transform your progress. So, as you move forward, remember, the discipline of focus is not about doing more. It's about doing less with more intensity. It's about channeling your energy into what matters most. When you learn to focus, you don't just rebuild yourself, you rebuild your future. Now, before you continue to the next chapter, I want to ask for your support. If this audiobook has given you value, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. That simple action helps us reach more people who, just like you, are on a journey of growth and self-rebuilding. So go ahead, create your focus block today. Eliminate your distractions. Practice deep work. And watch how your life begins to change. Because the future doesn't belong to the distracted, it belongs to the focused. Chapter 6: Building Mental Resilience. Let me ask you something. When life gets tough, when the unexpected happens, when failure knocks on your door, when things don't go according to plan, how do you respond? Do you give up, break down, or start doubting yourself? Or do you rise stronger, determined to keep moving forward? This chapter is about that one powerful skill every successful person has mastered: mental resilience. Mental resilience is the ability to stay strong, steady, and focused when challenges come. It's not about pretending life is easy. It's about standing tall even when life feels heavy. It's about training your mind to see failure not as the end, but as feedback. Think about it. Storms will always come. Challenges are part of life. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. That's where resilience comes in. Learning to stay strong when challenges come. Let's look at history for inspiration. One powerful example is Franklin D. Roosevelt, a man who faced challenges that could have easily ended his career. He was diagnosed with polio at the age of 39 and lost the ability to walk. Imagine that, your body no longer doing what you want it to do, in a world where strength and physical presence were seen as symbols of leadership. Yet Roosevelt didn't let that stop him. He rebuilt his strength mentally. He trained himself to adapt, to endure pain, and to focus on what he could do rather than what he couldn't. He went on to become one of the most influential leaders of his time, guiding his nation through the Great Depression and World War II. That's mental resilience, choosing to stay strong in the face of personal and global challenges. Now let's bring this closer to you. Resilience doesn't always mean facing wars or leading nations. It can mean holding your head high when you lose your job. It can mean continuing to believe in yourself after a heartbreak. It can mean waking up and trying again after failing yesterday. How to turn failure into feedback. Here's the truth. Every failure is a teacher. The problem is, most of us see failure as a punishment, when in reality, it's a lesson. Let me share with you the story of Aung San Suu Kyi. She spent years under house arrest for standing firm in her beliefs about democracy and freedom. Many times, she could have chosen the easy path and given up her fight. But she turned her isolation into a school of resilience. She used that time to sharpen her focus, deepen her conviction, and learn patience. When she finally returned to public life, she had transformed failure and limitation into inner strength. And here's a reminder from a classic book. In Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, he wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Think about that. You cannot always control external failures, but you can control the meaning you give to them. So, how do you turn failure into feedback? You ask yourself one simple question. What is this teaching me? Instead of asking, why me? Ask, what can I learn? That shift in perspective turns pain into power. Action step. Now I want you to pause and do this exercise. Take a notebook, your phone, or even a piece of paper, and write down 3 challenges you've faced recently. It could be a rejection, a mistake, or a setback. Next to each one, write what it taught you. Did it teach you patience? Did it show you where you need to improve? Did it reveal your true priorities? This exercise is simple, but it's powerful. Because the moment you turn your challenges into teachers, you are no longer a victim of them. You become the student, and eventually the master. Now, let me talk to you directly. Imagine you are standing in front of a mountain. It looks impossible to climb. You feel tired already just by looking at it. Resilience is not about running up the mountain without fear. It's about taking one step at a time, even when your legs shake. It's about trusting that every small step is progress, even if you can't see the top yet. Resilience is also about perspective. Some people see problems, while others see possibilities. If you lose a job, one person sees it as the end of their career, while another sees it as the beginning of something new. Which person are you? Remember this. Resilient people don't ask life to be easy. They ask for the strength to grow stronger. Think of Angela Merkel, who led with calmness and steadiness through multiple crises in Europe. She wasn't the loudest or the most dramatic leader, but she was consistent, rational, and unshaken. That is resilience, keeping your composure when the world is watching and waiting for you to break. Or think of Malala Yousafzai, who, despite facing life-threatening violence at a young age, chose not to let fear define her. Instead, she turned her pain into a global movement for education. That's the heart of resilience, turning wounds into wisdom. Key takeaways for you. Let's summarize what we've covered in this chapter. Resilience is strength in adversity. It doesn't mean you won't feel pain. It means you keep moving despite it. Failure is feedback. Every setback carries a lesson if you are willing to look for it. Your mindset matters. Shift from why me to what can I learn? And watch how your challenges become opportunities. Resilience is built daily. It grows when you face small challenges with courage, not only when the big storms come. Action step reminder. List 3 challenges you faced recently and write what they taught you. This simple exercise can transform your perspective from being defeated to being empowered. My friend, life will not always be kind, but you have the power to stay strong. Mental resilience is not a gift some are born with. It's a skill anyone can develop, including you. And the more you practice, the stronger you become. So, the next time failure knocks, don't see it as the end. See it as feedback. See it as a stepping stone. And remind yourself, I am resilient. I bend, but I do not break. If this chapter has spoken to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe so others can also learn the power of resilience and start rebuilding themselves. Together, we can build a community of strong, focused, and unstoppable people. Now, let's move forward, because the journey of rebuilding continues. Chapter 7: The Art of Daily Habits. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe success is built in one big leap, or in small steps taken daily? Most people dream of breakthrough moments, sudden changes, overnight transformations, dramatic success. But the truth? Life rarely works that way. Real growth doesn't come from one giant effort. It comes from small, consistent actions, repeated every single day, until they compound into something powerful. Think about it like drops of water falling on a rock. One drop won't change anything. But drop after drop, day after day, eventually shapes the hardest stone. Your habits are those drops. They may feel small, even invisible at first, but with time, they shape your entire life. One world leader who demonstrated this truth was Theodore Roosevelt. Before becoming a president, he was a sickly child, weak, often bedridden, and told by doctors he might never live a strong life. Instead of giving up, Roosevelt rebuilt himself through daily habits. He committed to physical exercise, reading, and discipline, not in one big effort, but in small routines that, over time, transformed him into a man of great strength, resilience, and influence. His life is proof that the small things you do daily matter far more than the occasional big burst of effort. This principle isn't new. In his book Atomic Habits, James Clear reminds us that you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. What does that mean? It means your dreams don't shape your life, your habits do. You can dream of becoming healthier, wealthier, or wiser, but if your daily actions don't align with that dream, the dream stays a dream. So why are small, consistent actions more powerful than big, intense efforts? It's because of momentum. Let's take an example. Imagine trying to push a heavy cart. At first, it feels almost impossible to move. But with a little push, then another, the cart starts rolling. Before long, it's moving steadily, and what felt difficult becomes easier. That's how habits work. The beginning is tough, but consistency creates momentum, and momentum creates transformation. Now, here's where the science of habit stacking comes in. Habit stacking is one of the simplest and most effective ways to build new routines into your life. Instead of trying to force yourself to start a habit from scratch, you attach it to something you already do. For example, after brushing your teeth in the morning, you take 2 minutes to practice gratitude. After pouring your morning coffee, you read 1 page of a book. After finishing lunch, you take a 5-minute walk. By linking new habits to existing ones, you make them stick. It's like adding a new branch to a tree that's already rooted in your life. Here's a personal coaching question for you. What is one habit you want to start? And what daily action can you connect it to? Don't think about something huge, just something small. Maybe you want to get fitter. Don't promise yourself 2 hours at the gym every day. Start with 5 push-ups after brushing your teeth. Maybe you want to learn more. Don't force an hour of study every night. Start with 1 page of reading after dinner. Remember this. Tiny habits done daily build massive results over time. Consider another inspiring example, Queen Elizabeth II. For decades, she reigned with consistency, discipline, and service. Her life wasn't defined by one dramatic act, but by daily habits of duty, structure, and dedication. Through small, repeated routines, she built an enduring legacy of stability and influence. That's the power of habits, not flashy but lasting. Now, let's get even more practical. Why do habits work better than relying on motivation? Because motivation is temporary. It rises and falls with emotion. Habits are permanent. They anchor you when motivation fails. You don't wake up every morning motivated to brush your teeth, yet you do it because it's a habit. Imagine applying that same automatic consistency to exercise, learning, saving money, or self-reflection. Here's how you can start today with 3 simple steps. Choose one small habit. Don't overwhelm yourself with 5 at once. Focus on 1. Stack it onto an existing routine. Pair it with something you already do daily. Stay consistent, not perfect. Missing a day doesn't mean failure. Get back to it the next day. Let me give you a formula you can use. After I current habit, I will new habit. For example, after I drink my morning water, I will do 10 stretches. After I set down my dinner plate, I will write 1 sentence in my journal. After I put my phone on charge at night, I will plan tomorrow's top priority. Simple, right? But these small actions, repeated daily, will rebuild your life. Here's the action step for this chapter. Pick 1 habit to start today and pair it with an existing routine. Don't wait for tomorrow. Start now. Choose something so small it feels almost too easy, because that's the secret. Small wins create momentum, and momentum creates transformation. Key takeaways for you. Success is not built on one-time effort, but on daily consistency. Small habits compound into massive results over time. Habit stacking helps you integrate new behaviors into your daily life with ease. Consistency beats motivation. Build systems, not wishes. The most powerful project you will ever work on is yourself, 1 habit at a time. As you listen to this audiobook, remember, you don't have to change your entire life overnight. You only need to commit to the small things every day. So I ask you now, what habit will you start today? And how will you stack it onto something you already do? This is your chance to rebuild yourself, 1 daily action at a time. If this chapter has inspired you to take action, don't keep it to yourself. Like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs the reminder, and subscribe so you never miss the next chapter of your growth journey. Remember, your focus is your power, and your habits are your building blocks. Let's keep growing together. Chapter 8. Rebuilding through self-discipline. Let me begin with a question for you. How often do you wait for motivation before you take action? Do you find yourself saying, "I'll start tomorrow when I feel ready," or "I'll work on my goals when I'm in the mood"? If you've been living this way, I need you to pause and reflect, because the truth is, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind. But self-discipline? That's a foundation. It's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Today, we are rebuilding you through self-discipline. And if you lean in and apply what we'll uncover together, this single principle could change everything for you. Understanding self-control versus motivation. Motivation is like a spark. It can light the fire, but it cannot keep it burning. Self-discipline is the steady wood you add to keep the fire alive, even when the spark is gone. Think of it this way: motivation says, "I'll do it when I feel like it." Self-discipline says, "I'll do it because I said I would, no matter how I feel." A great example of this can be found in the life of Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. She wasn't known for fiery speeches or dramatic gestures, but for her steady, disciplined leadership over nearly 2 decades. She was called the steady hand of Europe because she didn't rely on motivation or emotion to guide decisions. She relied on discipline, consistency, and calm strategy. The same applies in your personal life. If you're only acting when you feel inspired, you'll find yourself inconsistent. But when you build self-control, you're no longer at the mercy of feelings. You're guided by commitment. A powerful quote that captures this comes from the book The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Change might not be fast, and it isn't always easy. But with time and habit, almost any behavior can be reshaped. This is the heart of self-discipline. It's not about being perfect, it's about reshaping your daily choices until they lead you where you want to go. The role of routines in personal success. Now let's talk about routines. Have you ever noticed how world leaders, athletes, and highly successful individuals all seem to have strict routines? It's not a coincidence, it's a deliberate design. Take the example of Barack Obama, former President of the United States. He often spoke about how he wore mostly the same type of suits every day. Why? Because he didn't want to waste mental energy making small decisions. He built routines to free up focus for bigger challenges. That is self-discipline in action. Routines make success easier because they take away the daily debate of should I do this or not. Once something is routine, it's no longer a decision, it's a habit. Imagine brushing your teeth. You don't need motivation for it. You don't debate it in your head every night, it's automatic. The same can be true for exercising, working on your goals, or eating healthier. The key is to build routines that align with your vision. If you want to rebuild yourself, you must stop relying on motivation and instead create a lifestyle where discipline carries you forward. Action step: the 7-day discipline challenge. Pick one area of your life where you know you've been inconsistent. It could be your diet, your work habits, your exercise, or even your personal learning. Now, commit to practicing discipline in that area for 7 days straight. If it's diet, commit to removing one unhealthy habit and replacing it with a healthier choice for 7 days. If it's work, commit to showing up at a set time each day, no excuses. If it's exercise, commit to moving your body daily, even if it's just 15 minutes for 7 days. The purpose is not perfection. The purpose is to prove to yourself that you can act without waiting for motivation. And here's the secret. After 7 days, you'll notice something powerful. Discipline builds momentum. The more you keep your word to yourself, the easier it becomes to keep going. Let's ground this with a story. Imagine an athlete training for the Olympics. Do you think they wake up motivated every single morning? Of course not. But their discipline, their routine of training regardless of weather, mood, or setbacks, is what carries them to success. Now bring this home. You don't need to be training for the Olympics to apply this principle. You could be a student rebuilding your study habits, a parent rebuilding your energy, or an entrepreneur rebuilding your work ethic. Self-discipline works for everyone, everywhere, at every stage of life. Key takeaways for you. Motivation is unreliable, but discipline is steady. Stop waiting for the perfect mood to act. Self-control is a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets. Routines are the backbone of success. Design your days around what you want to achieve. Discipline builds trust in yourself. Every time you keep your word, your confidence grows. The 7-day challenge is your starting point. Prove to yourself that you can follow through. I want you to see self-discipline not as a punishment, but as a form of self-love. When you discipline yourself, you're saying, I care enough about my future to act today, even when it's uncomfortable. Think of the person you want to become 6 months from now. That future version of you is built by the disciplined choices you make today. Discipline is the bridge between your current self and your best self. So, don't wait for motivation. Start building discipline today, one decision at a time. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Remember, discipline is contagious. When you commit, you inspire others. Like this audiobook to let me know this chapter helped you. Share it with someone who needs this reminder today. And subscribe so you don't miss the next step in rebuilding yourself. This is your journey, your focus, your life. Rebuild it with discipline, and watch how everything begins to change. Chapter 9. Protecting your energy. Let me ask you something. How often do you feel drained? Not because you've done too much, but because of the people you've been around, the environment you've been in, or the constant flood of information you've consumed. If you're honest with yourself, you'll realize that your energy isn't only lost through action. It is often stolen, quietly, subtly, by the wrong relationships, toxic environments, and endless distractions. Protecting your energy is not just about self-care. It is about survival, growth, and the ability to keep your focus on what truly matters. The impact of people. Have you ever noticed how some people light you up, while others drain you completely? Energy is contagious. When you spend time with people who are negative, constantly complaining, or doubting your dreams, their energy seeps into your own. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with supportive, forward-thinking people, you feel inspired and recharged. One world leader who understood this deeply was Theodore Roosevelt. Known for his energy and resilience, Roosevelt deliberately surrounded himself with people who challenged him to think bigger, not those who would hold him back. His circle was not filled with yes men, but with people who could push him toward growth. He once said, The most important single ingredient in the formula of success is knowing how to get along with people. But here's the hidden truth. It's not just about getting along. It's about choosing the right people to get along with. You have to make conscious choices about who earns the right to influence your energy. Because whether you realize it or not, the people closest to you shape the quality of your life. The power of environment. It's not only people, it's also the environment you live and work in. Your environment can either fuel your focus or feed your distractions. Think of Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. She was known for her calm, steady leadership style, even during times of immense crisis. One reason for her resilience was her ability to protect her environment. Merkel was deliberate about creating a space of focus and calmness around her, no matter the chaos outside. This allowed her to make clear, rational decisions when others would have panicked. Your environment doesn't have to be perfect, but it must support your growth. If your home or workspace is filled with clutter, noise, or constant interruptions, your energy will always feel scattered. On the other hand, a clean, organized, and peaceful environment gives your mind room to breathe and your energy space to thrive. The weight of information. And then there's information. We live in a world where your phone can steal more of your energy than 10 people in a room. News headlines, social media feeds, endless opinions. It's a flood of energy that never stops. Here, we can learn from Queen Elizabeth II. During her reign, she lived through some of the most dramatic changes in modern history. Yet she was known for her discipline in consuming information. She filtered what she allowed into her mind, prioritizing what truly mattered, while ignoring noise that didn't serve her duty or her purpose. You must do the same. Not every piece of news deserves your attention. Not every notification deserves your response. You need to ask yourself daily, does this information feed my focus or does it drain my energy? Learning to say no without guilt. Now let's talk about one of the hardest yet most powerful skills, learning to say no. Many of us fear saying no because we don't want to disappoint others. But here's the truth. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're saying no to your own growth. Consider Barack Obama during his presidency. His schedule was filled with requests, meetings, and invitations. Yet, he had to master the art of saying no, not because he was arrogant, but because he understood that his energy was a limited resource. If he gave it to everything, he would have nothing left for what truly mattered. Saying no is not selfish, it's self-respect. When you protect your energy, you can give your best self to the commitments that truly align with your goals and values. Now it's your turn. I want you to take a simple but powerful step. Audit your circle. Write down one relationship in your life that strengthens you, uplifts you, and fuels your growth. That's the relationship you should invest more in. Then, write down one relationship that drains you, distracts you, or keeps you stuck. That's the relationship you need to limit, set boundaries around, or even walk away from if necessary. When you do this, you are not being harsh. You are being wise. Protecting your energy is protecting your future. Key takeaways for you. People either fuel your growth or drain your energy. Choose wisely who gets access to your inner circle. Your environment matters. Create a space that supports focus, peace, and progress. Information is power, but overload is poison. Filter what you consume and focus only on what helps you grow. Saying no without guilt is one of the greatest acts of self-respect. Protecting your energy allows you to give your best where it truly matters. Think of your energy as your most valuable currency. You can't spend it twice. Every day, you have a limited amount, and where you spend it will decide who you become. So ask yourself right now, am I spending my energy on things that build me or things that break me? If you want to rebuild yourself, if you want to focus every day on your goals, then you must protect your energy like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Remember, your energy is your strength. Protect it, and you will rebuild a life that is not only stronger, but deeply focused on the best version of you. If this chapter has spoken to you, don't keep it to yourself. Protect your energy, but also protect your growth by feeding your mind with the right resources. So make sure you like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to this channel so you never miss the next step in your journey of rebuilding yourself. Because the journey doesn't end here, it's only just beginning. Chapter 10: Confidence in the New You. Let me ask you a question. How much do you truly believe in yourself? When you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror, do you see someone capable, someone worthy, someone strong? Or do you still hear that little voice of doubt whispering in your head, saying, "You're not good enough, you're not ready, you can't do it"? If you've ever struggled with self-doubt, you're not alone. Every great leader, every successful person you admire, every innovator who changed the world, at some point, felt the same fears you feel. The difference is not that they never doubted themselves. The difference is that they chose to act in spite of it, to build confidence one step at a time, and to trust themselves through consistent small wins. Building self-trust through small wins. Here's a truth I want you to remember. Confidence is not built by waiting for big victories. It is built by collecting small wins daily. Think about a world leader like Angela Merkel, who led with calm strength for years. When she first entered politics, she wasn't seen as the most charismatic or powerful figure. But she built trust, first with herself, then with others, through persistence and steady decisions. Each small, consistent choice added to her credibility, until the world looked at her as one of the most influential leaders of her time. The same principle applies to you. Confidence is not something that suddenly appears one morning. It grows brick by brick with every small promise you keep to yourself. When you say, "I will exercise for 15 minutes today," and you do it, that's a win. When you say, "I will finish this task before I sleep," and you do it, that's another win. Each time you follow through, your mind starts to believe, "I can trust myself." And self-trust is the root of confidence, shifting from self-doubt to self-belief. Now let's talk about that inner critic. The voice that says you're not smart enough, strong enough, or ready enough. One of the most admired figures in modern history, Nelson Mandela, once said, "Courage is not the absence of fear, it's inspiring others to move beyond it." While we've mentioned him before, this truth holds for anyone seeking to rise. True confidence is not the absence of doubt, it's the choice to move forward anyway. Let's take another example. Jacinda Ardern, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand. When she took office, many critics doubted her ability to lead because of her age and gender. But instead of allowing those voices to define her, she leaned into empathy, decisiveness, and authenticity. She shifted the narrative by showing self-belief, even when others questioned her. This is what you must do in your own life. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment when doubt disappears. That moment will never come. Instead, take action while doubt still lingers. Each action you take becomes proof that you are stronger than the fear. Action step: the Win Journal. Here's a practical exercise that will transform the way you see yourself. Start a Win Journal. Every day, before you go to bed, write down 3 accomplishments from your day. They don't need to be massive. Maybe you cooked a healthy meal. Maybe you completed a project you've been avoiding. Maybe you reached out to a friend you've been meaning to check on. When you write these down daily, something powerful happens. You start to rewire your brain to see your strengths instead of your shortcomings. Over time, your Win Journal becomes living evidence of your growth. And when self-doubt shows up again, and it will, you'll have pages of proof reminding you, "I am capable, I am growing, I can trust myself." In his book The Confidence Gap by Russ Harris, there's a line that says, "The actions of confidence come first, the feelings of confidence come later." Did you catch that? You don't wait to feel confident before acting. You act first, and the feeling follows. That's why your small daily wins matter so much. They are the actions that train your mind to believe in your strength. Let me give you another relatable example. Consider Malala Yousafzai, a global advocate for education. She faced unimaginable challenges and danger, yet her belief in her voice and her mission gave her the confidence to stand before the entire world. Her courage didn't come from waiting for doubt to disappear. It came from consistently choosing her mission over her fear. Or think about Barack Obama, who began as a community organizer before becoming a global leader. His rise wasn't sudden. It was step by step, speech by speech, moment by moment of self-trust. Each small win prepared him for greater responsibility. Confidence is always a process, never an instant gift. Now let me speak to you directly. I want you to think of one area in your life where you feel the least confident right now. Maybe it's your career. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your relationships. Got it? Now, instead of thinking about the giant leap you need to take, I want you to focus on just one small step you can take today. That's your win. Tomorrow, you'll take another. The next day, another. Day by day, win by win, you'll notice something shift. Your voice will sound stronger. Your decisions will feel clearer. And one day, you'll look back and realize the new you has arrived. Key takeaways for you. Confidence is built, not born. It grows through small wins, not giant leaps. Self-trust is the foundation. Each promise you keep to yourself strengthens your belief. Action comes before confidence. Don't wait to feel ready. Act first, and belief will follow. A win journal is your tool. Write down 3 daily wins to rewire your brain for growth. World leaders and changemakers started small. If they built confidence step by step, so can you. If this chapter has inspired you, I want to encourage you to start your win journal tonight. Write down 3 small wins from your day and feel the shift in your mindset. And before we continue, I have a request. If you're finding value in this audiobook, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to this channel so you never miss a new chapter. Your growth deserves consistency, and we're building this journey together. Chapter 11. Focusing on long-term goals. Take a moment and imagine this. You wake up 10 years from now. You look around at your life, and you feel a deep sense of pride because the person you've become, the achievements you've reached, and the peace you carry inside didn't happen by accident. They were the results of choices, of focus, of direction. Now, let's be honest, most people never get there. They spend their days putting out fires, chasing distractions, and living only for the urgent, not the important. That's why in this chapter, we're going to dive into how to focus on long-term goals, and how you can start right now. Urgent versus important, knowing the difference. There's a principle called the Eisenhower Matrix, named after Dwight D. Eisenhower, a world leader who understood the value of prioritization. He once said, "What is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important." Think about that for a moment. Urgent tasks are things that demand your attention immediately. Emails, phone calls, unexpected problems. They scream for your time. But important tasks are different. They don't shout, but they shape your future. Studying, planning, exercising, building a skill, or working on a business idea. Here's the catch. Many people spend their whole lives running after the urgent, while the important gets ignored. And then years pass, and they wonder why they haven't grown. Ask yourself, are you living your days putting out fires, or are you investing your time in building your future? The power of long-term goals. Let's take the example of Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. She wasn't the loudest, she wasn't the flashiest, but she was consistent. She had a long-term vision for stability and progress. Over her years of leadership, she was often described as cautious, patient, and focused. And because of her ability to prioritize long-term stability over short-term applause, she became one of the most respected leaders of her time. That's the lesson. Long-term goals don't always feel urgent, but they're the seeds of transformation. Just like a farmer planting today isn't harvesting tomorrow. But one season, 1 year, and eventually, there is abundance. SMART goals, your roadmap. Now let's get practical. You've probably heard of SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. But let's break it down in a way you can actually use. Specific, don't just say, "I want to be successful." What does success look like for you? Is it starting a business? Writing a book? Building financial freedom? Define it clearly. Measurable, how will you track progress? If your goal is financial, what's the number? If it's health, what's the weight or habit you're aiming for? Achievable, be realistic. You can't run a marathon tomorrow if you've never jogged before. But you can run 1 mile today, 2 next week, and build from there. Relevant. Does this goal align with your true values? Don't chase what society celebrates if it doesn't fulfill you. Focus on what matters to you. Time-bound, give your goals a deadline. Without one, they remain dreams. A date puts pressure, and pressure creates movement. Think about former Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore. When he began leading, his country was small, poor, and without many resources. But he had a long-term vision, to transform it into a thriving, modern economy. He didn't chase quick wins or temporary applause. Instead, he built systems, education, infrastructure, discipline, that over decades turned the nation into one of the strongest economies in the world. That's the power of focusing on the important over the urgent. He saw beyond his own lifetime and built for generations. Your action step. Here's what I want you to do now. Take out a pen and paper, or open the Notes app on your phone. Write down one long-term goal that you know will change your life if you achieve it. It could be about your health, your career, your relationships, or your finances. Now, break that goal into 3 short-term steps that you can start immediately. For example, long-term goal, publish a book in 2 years. Short-term steps, write 1 page every day. Join a writer's group for accountability. Study the structure of successful books. Simple, right? When you break the big into the small, the overwhelming becomes possible. Key takeaways for you. Don't get trapped in the cycle of urgency. Emails, problems, and noise will always be there. Important tasks are quiet, but they shape your future. Give them time every single day. Long-term goals require patience, discipline, and vision. Think like the leaders who built legacies, not just headlines. Smart goals turn dreams into actionable steps. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Let that be your framework. Start now. 1 goal, 3 short-term steps. Progress is built daily. Remember this. Rebuilding yourself isn't about quick fixes. It's about setting a direction, committing to the journey, and refusing to give up when the urgent tries to steal your attention. As the saying goes, a year from now you'll wish you started today. So why wait? Start now. If this chapter gave you clarity and motivation, don't keep it to yourself. Like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs it, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss the next chapter. Together, we're building a community of people who refuse to settle for less than their best selves. Now take your long-term goal, break it down, and start walking your path today. Your future self is waiting. Chapter 12, The Role of Gratitude and Mindset. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to focus on what's missing in your life instead of what's present? Maybe you've caught yourself comparing your journey to someone else's, wishing you had their opportunities, their success, or even their happiness. The truth is, comparison blinds us. It keeps us locked in a cycle of dissatisfaction, making us believe that who we are and what we have is never enough. But there's a secret tool, simple, yet powerful, that can change the way you see your life forever. That tool is gratitude. Gratitude is not just saying thank you. It's a mindset, a way of rewiring your brain to notice the good in your life, no matter how small. Science shows that practicing gratitude consistently creates new neural pathways, training your brain to focus on joy, abundance, and possibility. In other words, the more you practice gratitude, the more natural it becomes to see opportunities rather than obstacles and blessings rather than burdens. Think about this. When you wake up and the first thought in your mind is stress, worry, or frustration, your day often follows that path. But when you wake up and immediately think of something you're grateful for, your health, your breath, your family, the simple gift of a new day, you set a completely different tone. Gratitude shifts your focus. And focus, as we've discussed in earlier chapters, is the currency of rebuilding yourself. One world leader who demonstrated this beautifully was Mother Teresa. She worked among the poorest of the poor, surrounded by suffering and hardship every single day. Yet, she lived with a heart full of gratitude. She once said, "The best way to show my gratitude is to accept everything, even my problems, with joy." Imagine that, not just being grateful for blessings, but even for challenges. That mindset didn't just keep her strong. It inspired millions to serve with love and compassion, despite the difficulties of life. Gratitude didn't change her circumstances. It changed her perspective, and her perspective changed the world. Now let's look at another powerful example, Queen Elizabeth II. Throughout her decades of service, she faced wars, political upheavals, personal losses, and global changes. Yet, she was often described as steady, calm, and enduring. What many don't know is that she regularly spoke about gratitude as her guiding principle. She reminded people to be thankful for small things and daily mercies, especially in hard times. That practice of gratitude helped her maintain a mindset of service, resilience, and focus when many others would have collapsed under the weight of duty. This brings us to a truth that applies to your life. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to focus on what is still good, what is still working, and what is still worth celebrating. When you shift your mindset in this way, joy becomes possible even in the midst of struggle. There's a famous book, The Happiness Advantage by Shawn Achor, where the author proves through research that gratitude not only improves happiness but also performance. He explains that when people practice gratitude daily, their productivity rises, their relationships improve, and even their health gets stronger. This isn't magic, it's mindset. Gratitude teaches your brain to see possibilities, and when you see possibilities, you naturally begin to move toward them. But let's be honest, it's not always easy. Our world constantly tempts us into comparison. Social media shows us other people's highlight reels, making us feel small in our own journey. But comparison is the thief of joy. The way to break free is to replace comparison with appreciation. Instead of looking at someone else's success with envy, look at it as evidence of what's possible. Say to yourself, if they can achieve it, it means I can too in my own way and time. And while you're doing that, don't forget to notice the blessings already present in your life. Let me guide you through a simple but life-changing exercise. Every morning, before you pick up your phone, before you dive into the rush of the day, pause. Take a notebook or even a scrap of paper and write down 5 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. They can be as simple as, I'm grateful for the gift of another day. I'm grateful for clean water to drink. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful for the chance to keep learning. I'm grateful for someone who believes in me. If you make this a daily ritual, you will slowly notice a shift. Instead of constantly focusing on what's missing, you'll begin to see what's already working. That small act of awareness builds momentum, and soon your mindset changes from lack to abundance, from stress to clarity, from fear to hope. Let's make this practical. Imagine 2 people going through the exact same challenge. One focuses on everything that's wrong, constantly repeating, "Why me? This is unfair." The other practices gratitude, reminding themselves, I may be struggling, but I'm learning. I may not have everything I want, but I have more than enough to keep going. Who do you think comes out stronger? It's not about who has fewer problems. It's about who has a stronger mindset. Gratitude makes your mind strong. As you walk this journey of rebuilding yourself, I want you to remember, gratitude is fuel for focus. It keeps your eyes fixed on what matters instead of being distracted by comparison or negativity. It keeps you steady when the road gets rough. And most importantly, it helps you find joy in the present while still reaching for the future. Key takeaways for you. Gratitude rewires your brain to focus on joy, possibilities, and abundance. Replace comparison with appreciation. See others' success as proof of what's possible, not as a threat. Practicing gratitude daily increases happiness, productivity, and resilience. Write down 5 things you're grateful for every morning to train your mind to focus on the positive. Gratitude doesn't ignore hardship, it transforms how you experience it. So, as you continue rebuilding yourself, I challenge you to make gratitude your daily habit. Start tomorrow morning. Write those 5 things. Let gratitude guide your focus and your mindset. And before we move on, I want to leave you with this question. What if the life you've always dreamed of is already unfolding, but you've been too focused on what's missing to notice? Gratitude opens your eyes to see it. If this chapter has inspired you, I encourage you to like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs a reminder of the power of gratitude, and subscribe to this channel so you never miss the next step in your journey of self-rebuilding. Remember, gratitude is not just an act, it's a lifestyle. And when you choose it, you choose joy, focus, and a renewed mind. Chapter 13. Creating your own growth system. Let me ask you something personal. How many times have you felt motivated at the start of a new year, a new month, or even a Monday morning, only to watch that motivation disappear in just a few days? Maybe you started a fitness routine, promising yourself you'd wake up at 6 a.m. to exercise every day. For the first 3 days, you felt unstoppable. But by the 4th morning, the bed felt warmer than your goals, and you told yourself, I'll start again next week. Or perhaps you planned to read 1 book a month, but after reading 20 pages, your Netflix playlist pulled you away. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. This is the very reason why systems will always beat motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the wind. Systems, on the other hand, are like the solid ground you build on. They keep you moving even when you don't feel like it. One world leader whose life reflects this truth is Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. She wasn't known for fiery speeches or dramatic charisma, but for her consistent discipline and structured approach to leadership. Merkel relied on systems, carefully planned routines, logical processes, and an ability to focus on the essentials, to guide her country through crises. She once said that leadership is not about chasing emotions, but about steady, structured decisions. Her success was not a product of bursts of inspiration, but of well-designed systems she followed every day. This is where your rebuilding journey takes a powerful turn. If you want to become the best version of yourself, you cannot rely on how you feel each morning. Instead, you must create a growth system, a lifestyle designed to make success inevitable. Why systems beat motivation? The author James Clear, in his best-selling book Atomic Habits, said something profound. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Think about that for a moment. Everyone has goals. Millions of people want to be healthier, wealthier, or more fulfilled. But why do only a small percentage actually achieve it? The answer lies not in their goals, but in their systems. A system is the framework that makes your goals automatic. If your goal is to run a marathon, your system might be running 3 times a week, gradually increasing your distance and tracking your progress. If your goal is to write a book, your system might be writing 500 words every morning before checking your phone. Without systems, goals are just wishes. With systems, goals become inevitable outcomes. Designing a lifestyle that supports success. So how do you design a lifestyle that supports your growth? The key is balance. Growth doesn't just come from working hard. It comes from building a life that equally values health, rest, and consistent progress. Let's break it down. Growth time. This is the time you dedicate to learning and improvement. It could be reading 20 minutes a day, taking an online course, or practicing a skill. Growth doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of small daily deposits into your future self. Health time. Your body is the engine that carries your dreams. Without health, no goal is achievable. This means carving out time for exercise, proper meals, and enough sleep. Even a 30-minute walk can clear your mind and strengthen your body. Rest time. Here's where many people fail. They glorify working nonstop. But rest is not laziness. Rest is recovery. It's in the moments of rest that your mind sharpens, your creativity blooms, and your energy resets. Now imagine if your week was structured in such a way that all 3 areas were covered. You wouldn't need motivation to remind you, because your system would carry you. Action step. Build your weekly routine. Let's turn this into action. Right now, I want you to grab a notebook and design your personal growth system. Start small. Choose 3 days in your week for growth time. This could be reading, journaling, or working on a project. Choose 3 days for health time. Maybe it's exercise, yoga, or preparing a healthy meal. Choose at least 1 day for rest time. Put your phone away, take a walk in nature, or simply relax with no guilt. It doesn't have to be perfect. What matters is that your system becomes consistent. Over time, these small steps will create massive results. Think of a farmer planting seeds. The farmer doesn't rely on motivation to water the crops. He relies on a system. Every day, rain or shine, he tends to his field. Weeks later, the harvest arrives. Your life is no different. Your habits are the seeds, your system is the field, and your results are the harvest. So here's my question to you. Will you continue waiting for motivation to show up, or will you build a system that makes success non-negotiable? Imagine 6 months from now. You look back and realize you've read 6 books, built stronger health, and achieved clarity in your goals. That future you is not built by motivation. That future you is built by systems. Key takeaways for you. Motivation is temporary, but systems create lasting change. Systems are about designing a lifestyle that balances growth, health, and rest. Start small. 3 days of growth, 3 days of health, and 1 day of rest each week can transform your life. Your future is not shaped by what you hope to do, but by what your system makes you do consistently. As we close this chapter, I want you to remember this. Systems are your safety net when motivation disappears. They will carry you forward when your energy is low and when distractions try to pull you back. Build your growth system today, and you'll never have to worry about falling behind again. And before we move on, I'd like to ask for your support. If you're finding value in this audiobook, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us reach more people around the world who are ready to rebuild themselves and focus on their goals. Now, take a deep breath, visualize the life you're building, and let's move forward together. Chapter 14. Overcoming setbacks without losing focus. Let me ask you a question. What do you do when life doesn't go as planned? When everything you've worked for suddenly crumbles, or when the path you thought was clear suddenly becomes blocked? Do you give up, or do you find a way to rise again? The truth is, setbacks are not the end of your story. They are part of your story. Every person you admire today has faced failure, disappointment, and rejection at some point. What separates those who rise from those who remain stuck is not the absence of setbacks. It's the ability to bounce back. Think about leaders who rebuilt themselves after crushing defeats. Take Theodore Roosevelt, for example. Before he became president, he lost his wife and his mother on the same day. Imagine that pain. Many people would have given up on life, but instead, he went out into the wilderness, rebuilt his strength, and came back more focused than ever. That tragedy became a turning point, not the end. Or consider Queen Elizabeth I of England. She was imprisoned for years, accused of treason, betrayed by those closest to her. Yet she emerged stronger, ruling with wisdom and earning the title of the Virgin Queen. Her darkest days did not define her, they refined her. And let's not forget Nelson Mandela's contemporary, Desmond Tutu, who faced oppression, threats, and constant resistance. Still, he chose persistence and peace as his path. His resilience made him a voice of hope for millions. These examples remind us, setbacks are not stop signs, they are detours pointing us toward growth. Why setbacks hurt so much? When we fail, it doesn't just sting because of the event itself. It hurts because of the stories we tell ourselves. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I was wrong to try. What if this is all I can be? But here's the truth. Setbacks are feedback, not a final verdict. They are life's way of saying, adjust your strategy, not your dream. As the book Mindset by Carol S. Dweck teaches us, people with a growth mindset see failure as a lesson, while those with a fixed mindset see it as proof that they're not capable. If you adopt a growth mindset, every setback becomes a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Turning setbacks into stepping stones. So, How do you bounce back without losing focus? Let's break it down into simple, actionable steps. Pause and process. Don't rush to fix everything immediately. Give yourself permission to feel the disappointment. Reflect, write it down, or talk to someone you trust. Healing comes before rebuilding. Extract the lesson. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Every setback holds a hidden lesson. Maybe you underestimated the effort required. Maybe you need a new skill. Or maybe the timing wasn't right. Adjust, don't abandon. Too many people throw away their entire dream because of one failure. Instead, adjust your strategy. As Winston Churchill once said, success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Create a bounce-back plan. Don't wait for life to catch you off guard again. Write down how you will respond the next time things don't go as planned. This creates mental resilience. Keep your eyes on the bigger picture. Remember, a single setback doesn't define your entire journey. One storm doesn't cancel the destination. Think about entrepreneurs who went bankrupt before building billion-dollar companies, athletes who lost championships before breaking world records, or inventors whose prototypes failed hundreds of times before success. Thomas Edison, who gave us the electric light bulb, once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That mindset is what kept him moving forward until he finally succeeded. And it's the same mindset you need in your own life. Your bounce-back plan. Let's make this practical. Take out a notebook or open your phone's notes and create a simple plan. Title it, My Bounce-Back Plan. Step 1. When I face a setback, I will first pause and breathe. Step 2. I will write down what happened and what lessons I can learn. Step 3. I will adjust my strategy instead of abandoning my dream. Step 4. I will remind myself of my long-term vision. Step 5. I will take one small action within 24 hours to get back on track. This is not just an exercise, it's a lifeline. The next time life hits you, you won't be caught off guard. You'll already know how to respond. Key takeaways for you. Setbacks are not the end, they are opportunities for growth. World leaders, innovators, and changemakers all faced failures before success. A growth mindset turns failure into feedback. Your bounce-back plan gives you resilience and clarity. Keep your focus on the bigger picture, not the temporary pain. Life will test you. Sometimes it will knock you down. But remember this, you are stronger than you think, and setbacks are simply stepping stones leading you to your purpose. Every great story has chapters of struggle before triumph. Yours is no different. Don't quit in the middle of your story. Keep turning the page. And if this chapter has inspired you, I want you to do 2 things right now. First, take action. Write your bounce-back plan today. Second, help someone else rebuild by sharing this audiobook. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because together, we're creating a community of people who refuse to let setbacks define them. Now, let's move forward to the next chapter, where we'll continue your journey of rebuilding yourself and staying focused every single day. Chapter 15. Living the Rebuilt Life. Let me ask you something. What does it truly mean to live the rebuilt life? You've walked through the journey of self-awareness, discipline, focus, resilience, and growth. You've let go of old habits, embraced new ones, and learned how to direct your energy toward your goals. But here's the truth. Rebuilding yourself is not just about one breakthrough moment. It's about living in alignment with the person you've become, every single day. Living the rebuilt life means becoming consistent in your self-improvement. It's about creating daily reminders that keep you focused on your goals, even when life gets noisy, chaotic, or distracting. And more importantly, it's about committing to a lifestyle that honors the best version of you. Think about it. Anyone can start a new journey. Many people set goals, create plans, and even take the first steps. But what separates those who rise from those who fade is consistency. And consistency is where transformation becomes permanent. Becoming consistent in self-improvement. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you'll never stumble or fall. What it means is that you keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it. History gives us many examples of leaders who embodied consistency. Take Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. She wasn't the loudest voice in the room, but through steady, consistent leadership over 16 years, she rebuilt not only her image as a leader, but also her nation's place in the world. Her quiet persistence showed that you don't need sudden bursts of brilliance to lead. You need the discipline to keep going, day after day. That's what the rebuilt life looks like. You may not always see the results immediately, but every small action adds up. Every consistent step shapes the person you're becoming. In James Clear's best-selling book Atomic Habits, he says, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." This means success is not about a big dream alone. It's about the systems you build to sustain your growth. Systems create consistency, and consistency builds the rebuilt life. Daily reminders to focus on your goals. So how do you stay consistent? One powerful tool is daily reminders. You see, the human mind is forgetful. We often forget what we said was important, and we get caught up in the urgency of the day. That's why reminders are necessary. They bring you back to your focus. Reminders can come in many forms. A note on your mirror that says, "Stay focused." An alarm on your phone that prompts you to review your goals. A journal where you track your wins every night. A vision board that shows you where you're going. One world leader who mastered the art of daily reminders was Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States. He kept journals, notebooks, and personal writings where he recorded his thoughts, reflections, and even his failures. These constant reminders helped him stay grounded and focused on what truly mattered, even in times of crisis. Your reminders don't need to be complicated. What matters is that they pull your attention back to your higher purpose every single day. The 30-day self-focus challenge. Now let's get practical. You've walked through this audiobook, but I don't want this to just be knowledge. I want you to take action. And here's your final action step. Create a 30-day self-focus challenge for yourself. Here's how it works. Pick 3 areas you want to improve in. This could be your health, your career, your mindset, or your relationships. Set one simple daily action for each area. For example, for health, drink 8 glasses of water daily. For career, spend 30 minutes learning a new skill. For mindset, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Track your progress daily. You can use a calendar, a notebook, or even a simple app. Mark an X every day you complete your actions. Review weekly. Ask yourself, am I staying consistent? What needs adjusting? By the end of 30 days, you'll notice something powerful. You'll not only feel more focused, but you'll also prove to yourself that consistency is possible. And once you do it for 30 days, you can keep extending it, 60 days, 90 days, and eventually, it becomes a lifestyle. This is the secret. Rebuilding yourself is not a one-time event. It's a daily decision. It's the choice to show up, again and again, for yourself and your future. Living the rebuilt life. The rebuilt life is not about being perfect. It's about being committed. It's about saying, I will not abandon myself. I will not forget my goals. I will not settle for less than the best version of me. And here's the truth. Living the rebuilt life will not always be easy. Some days you'll feel tired. Some days doubt will whisper that you're not good enough. Some days distractions will fight for your attention. But those are the very days you must remind yourself why you started. Think of it like a sculptor chiseling a masterpiece. The progress isn't always visible in one stroke. But with daily effort, the shape becomes clearer, the beauty emerges, and eventually, the masterpiece is revealed. That's you. That's your life. Key takeaways for you. Consistency is the foundation of the rebuilt life. It's not about perfection, but about showing up every day. Daily reminders keep you aligned. Use notes, journals, alarms, or vision boards to bring your goals back into focus. The 30-day self-focus challenge is your practical next step. Choose 3 areas, commit to daily actions, track them, and review your progress. Living the rebuilt life is a lifestyle. It's the commitment to never abandon your growth, no matter what. So, as we close this audiobook, let me ask you one last question. Are you ready to not just rebuild yourself, but to live every day as the new, focused, unstoppable you? Your journey doesn't end here. It begins here, today, with your commitment to live the rebuilt life. And if this audiobook has inspired you, I invite you to share it. Someone out there needs to hear these words just as much as you did. So share, and subscribe for more powerful lessons that will guide you on your journey of self-improvement. Remember, the most important investment you'll ever make is in yourself. So stay focused, stay consistent, and keep rebuilding every single day.